Hi, and welcome to Art Inspiration with VKH. I'm Veronica, the V in the VKH. I have been an amateur artist for 4 years, the last 2 years focusing on watercolor. And I have been a teacher and I work in education for the last 24 years. So I love teaching and I love art. So welcome to my channel and welcome to Art with me. Okay, so for today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. First of all, I'm prepping my space. This time, instead of using a full 9 by 12 piece of paper, I actually took one of them and I just cut it in half. And I'm still mounting it on my board the same way. This is 1-inch painter's tape, and I make a 1-inch border around the outside. And then I like to secure it twice so that it really stays down. And so for today, I'm just going to go like this, and that should help to secure my paper. Okay, so I've got that done. You'll notice that my actual painter's palette is different. Normally I use this, which is great. And if you have this, this is awesome. But I wanted to just show you something different today. These are watercolor tubes of paint. Looks like this. This is Cotman or Winsor and Newton. This is what the package looks like. And you just take one of the tubes, you open it up and you just put a little dollop right there. It will dry if you let it. And then this is going to last me forever. I've even labeled some of them. You can see that I've labeled some of them. So there we go. A little bit about setup today. I'm not going to use my pencil at all today. I'm only going to use my paints and my water and everything like that. I have 2 water cups. I don't know if you can see them both, but I always have a clean water cup and a dirty water cup. And I've got my recycled paper towels so that I can blot. And we are going to take this smaller piece of paper and do some wet on wet. And we're going to do mostly sky. I want to do a sky series because I absolutely love doing sky. And I love wet on wet for skies. So today we're going to try to do like a sunset type of sky. So to do that, we have our brush. Actually, I'm going to use a slightly bigger one, the square one. And I'm going to start by doing a little bit at the top to do some blue so we can have a little bit of blue sunset sky. So to do wet on wet, you just simply paint some water onto your paper. You don't want it to puddle. So I'm just going to do one little line as simply as that. I've already activated my colors, and what that means is I have taken some water and a brush. I'll activate this purple so you can see, and I just add water to it and I swirl it, swirl it, swirl it, swirl it. Some people use spray bottles, little water spray bottles. I just use the water and my brush like that. You can do it however you want. But now, and I blot it to make sure I got all the paint off. I did not. That purple is a deep purple. These Cotman colors are rich, dark, lovely, beautiful colors. Okay, and at the very tippy top, I'm actually going to use this turquoise first and make a lovely dark sky. And maybe I'll just bring that down. Oh, and sometimes your brushes will do this. You'll have a little bit of fuzz on it. You just pick it up with your brush, and remove it, and there you go, and it's no big deal. Okay, and so now I have that first part going. Now I'm going to let that dry for just a quick second. I want to do a little bit of some ocean at the bottom. So again, I'm going to go back to my square brush, clean water. And I'm going to just do a little row of ocean at the bottom. I want most of this to be the sky. And then I'm going to switch to a turquoisey, light turquoisey blue. Paint that there down at the bottom. Beautiful color. Glorious color. I didn't do any drawing. Oh, I'm doing a darker turquoise color. I might do some wave actions. I didn't actually draw pencil lines because I wanted to see that you could do it without. You may come to realize, oh, you don't actually need those. Okay, then I'm going to come back to the center and do a center line of water. That is a lot of water. I got to get some of that out there. I don't want it to puddle. Oh, there's another little, there we go. Get that off of there. I am going to do this light blue gray in the middle, like that. But I'm actually also going to, what would it do if I added some pink to that? What it's doing up at the top. It's so fascinating how it does that when it dries. We can totally manipulate it a little bit later. And then down here on the bottom, let's do another one. I haven't connected this to this yet, so this is just a stripe, but I want this to be a peachy pink. So I'm going to come down here and do this. I think it needs a little bit more pink on the sides. So let's add some of that. Ooh. Nice. That's really cool, actually. Okay, and then without getting this part wet first, I would like to activate this sort of blue over here, which is a lighter blue. And I'm going to see what I can do if I can blend this blue and this blue. Go back up here. I don't know what happened up there. I'm going to reactivate this. And this off. Isn't that interesting that that is doing that like that? That is so fascinating. I might take a paper towel. I might see if I can get some clouds going a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to blend these two. Maybe blend this pink up here into this blue, and you're going to get a little bit of purpley action. And maybe again, we have some clouds. And then let's do a little bit this up into here. So cool. So interesting. I'm going to pull up some more of this so that I can get more of a cloud without that line right there. Wow, that's way cool. I am very much liking this so far. Now, the only thing is we have to pause so that we can let it dry, so that then we can go on to the next part, because it's cold to the touch, which means, you know what, I better not leave it, because if I start messing with it, it's going to actually start tearing the paper. I don't know if you can see that it's starting to like buckle a little bit too, which means we definitely need to let it dry, and then we can see where we're at later. Okay, so you can see and you can feel that everything's not cold any longer. It's kind of flattened itself out. So we are ready to continue and see what we could add to this. I'm going to start by adding a little bit more color at the top of the sky. And maybe this is called ultramarine blue. Maybe just a smidge at the very top to darken the sky at the top. Going to add some layers over here. And then just going to take some water and just kind of blend it with a little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. Pull it down a little bit on top of those clouds. Cool, I like it. We put some underneath these clouds, in between the clouds. Yeah, I like it. Pull some of that back out over here. And then I like to swirl it a little bit because that is kind of the texture of the cloud. Okay, cool. That looks awesome. Love it. Okay. Then next, go down to the beautiful ocean. And again, at the horizon line, it's usually a little bit darker at the edge. So we can go back in. Maybe we do add a little bit of blue to this water in addition to the green, greenish turquoisey. And you kind of just have to think about like, okay, well, what is the level of the depth of color that you're looking for? Are you looking for completely saturated dark color, or are you looking for something a little bit more muted and pastel-y? It 100% just depends on what you are looking for. I need some more lighter color in there. I mean, this is kind of looking a little bit more tumultuous than I had originally planned, but I love it. I think it looks beautiful. So I'm kind of okay with it. A little bit more in the front. Awesome. Love it. Think it's great. Think it's gorgeous. Oops, I went over into my horizon just a smidge. Okay, that's okay because we're going to go over that with some sun. Okay. All right. So now let's try to see what we can do here in the center. I want to try to, I think because I have this weird line happening from my original paint, I'm going to try to address that with covering. See if we can change it, move it, make it so it's not so prominent by cutting through the clouds a little bit. Maybe blending it a little bit more. And if I can't get rid of it, I don't even care because I still like it. A little bit darker over here. Maybe have it go up. Awesome. And then maybe this side be a little bit more. Again, it's all sky. Whatever you want it to do. See if it can lift any of that line right there. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Cool. I like it. Okay. And then maybe what I'll do, maybe I will then add a little bit of this golden yellow. Maybe I need to add some sun right here, right? Maybe that needs to extend out a little bit. And that could also go into the clouds, which would be really cool. So I could even drag that yellow up. Maybe I want it to go up even into the blue. Cool. I like it, actually. That looks amazing. Now, the only thing I think I would still do is I could let it dry a little bit, or maybe I don't even let it dry. Let's try something. Let's add a little bit. The only problem with this is like the blue stops. I need this blue to keep going. Let's see. Well, maybe we try some turquoise. No, I think it was this blue. Go back to this blue. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it needs to come down a little bit because otherwise it doesn't look like, yeah, need some blue in there. Ooh, that's a little dark, but that's okay. Who cares? awesome. I love the purple. Like, look how gorgeous that is. Okay. And then the only thing I'm going to experiment with a little bit is what happens if I do this with the sun color. Yeah, it ends up looking a little bit green, but maybe I can fix that by just going over it with some clear water. And it did that because I'm trying to do this for time so that the video isn't too long. But when that's dry, I could go over it again with some more yellow. Or even let's see what happens if I put that over it. Yeah, you know what? I'm not actually mad at it. I actually think that's great. So there you go. You can just experiment and have fun, and it can end up looking like whatever you want. And if you're not happy, then you can just totally redo it. You let it dry, and then let me show you what happens when you take the tape off. And then you'll have this beautiful card. Okay. And you could reuse the tape if you're totally into recycling. Great. Don't crumple it up like I just did. Great. Save it. Put it aside, save it, and you can reuse it. You just peel it off. I might wait for it to dry to peel it off, but I just wanted to show you what it will look like, the final product. And because I did the border around the outside, that is the best because then it really does look like, oh, I've got a professional card. And then I could just write somebody a little note and give it to them as a present, and boom, there you go. So that's this one. We're going to be doing a little tiny bit more with some other versions of the sky.